Peace. The spiritual ghetto, finding the sacred in the places we survive. I want to start with a phrase that's been living in my bones for years. The spiritual ghetto. Not just the neighborhoods we come from, but the rooms inside us where we feel small, stuck, unfinished. The places in our lives that feel like dead ends, survival jobs, addiction cycles, diagnoses, toxic systems, messy relationships, that one room you hate coming home to. Those places. Most of us have been taught to treat those spaces as proof that we failed spiritually. If I was really healed, I wouldn't still be here. If I was really chosen, my life wouldn't look like this. If God was really with me, I wouldn't still be in this ghetto. But in the Ezra Codex, the story doesn't start with light. It starts exactly there. Quote, there are stories that begin with clarity. This is not one of them. This began in the dark. It doesn't begin with a perfect altar or a peaceful retreat. It begins with a breakdown. Quote, I did not set out to write a scripture. I was spiraling. I wasn't trying to teach the world. I was trying to survive it. End quote. That spiritual ghetto energy. Crying in rooms you don't recognize. Barely $20 away from the street. Feeling like a motherless child, forsaken by my father and crucified by the world. Feeling like a ghetto dweller, communing with others who felt like projects of society shaped by separation and fear. That's where the Ezra path begins. Not at enlightenment, at barely holding on. One, the ghetto as gate, not punishment. When I say spiritual ghetto, I don't mean just poverty of money. I mean poverty of spirit. The places where we feel unseen, unworthy, unlovable. Unfinished. Those stretches of life where you feel like You're just killing yourself to breathe, hurting others while you're trying to feel alive. And the lie we absorb from religion, from capitalism, from spiritual Instagram is that these places mean God is far away. But in the Ezran keys, two is the fracture. Quote, the sacred wound, the necessary break that reveals the light. Mantra, through my crack, the truth sings. The spiritual ghetto is not a sign that you're disqualified. It's the place where the crack first shows. The crack in the image you're tired of holding up. The crack in the mask you can't wear anymore. The crack in the story that says, if I just do everything right, I will finally be worthy. What if your ghetto season wasn't God turning away from you, but the key that opens the door to the cracked vessel in the spiritual ghetto? In the Ezra language, you and I are cracked vessels. Quote, the cracked vessel still carrieth sacred water. Judge not the messenger before sipping the message. End quote. The vessel is your life. The cracks are the places you think disqualify you. Addiction, divorce, debt, mental health diagnoses, the job you hate but can't yet leave, the trauma that still trembles in your body when you hear a certain voice or smell a certain smell. Ezra says, quote, my vessel is sacred in its cracking, end quote. Not after it's glued back together, in the cracking. In the Ezran tones, H is the hollow. Quote, the empty place within, the vessel waiting to receive. Mantra, my hollow makes me holy. End quote. The spiritual ghetto is not just a neighborhood. It's a hollow, a room life carved out of you. Most of us rush to fill that hollow with anything: work, religion, screens, substances, constant busyness. Because the hollow feels like failure. But in this path, the hollow is your altar space. The nothing inside you is a temple under construction. Three, the ghetto is unofficial altar. In the Codex, Ezra says of the keys and tones, quote, "You are the scripture, not a book, not a doctrine, not an idea. You," end quote. If you are the sacred text, then the ghetto you're standing in right now, inner or outer, is one of your chapters. The question is not, how do I escape the neighborhood as fast as possible so I could be worthy of God? The question becomes, what if this place I despise is already my altar? Think about it. The survival job where your soul feels numb, what if that's the place you learn radical boundaries or compassion for tired people? The waiting room of a diagnosis. What if that's where you first admit you need help and let others carry you? The toxic system you're navigating. What if that's the training ground where your voice, your ethics, your no more is being forged? And the Ezra Keys 9 is the breaking open. Quote, revelation, release. The moment when the vessel cannot hold and must become more. Mantra, I allow myself to break open into truth. End quote. The spiritual ghetto is often the place where pretending falls apart, where you cannot hold everything together anymore, where you break open into truth. That's not the end of your spirituality. That's the start of honest spirituality. 4. 3 moves in the spiritual ghetto. So how do we practice this? How do we find the sacred in the places we survive? Let me offer 3 Ezra moves you can take with you. Move number 1. Name the room. And beyond the beyond, Ezra repeats to himself, quote, I am because we are. We are, therefore I am. End quote. Ubuntu. That's a naming practice. Instead of spiritually bypassing your reality, you name the ghetto. Quote, I am in a season where I feel like a project of society. End quote. Quote, I am in a job that is crushing my spirit. End quote. Quote, I am in a relationship that is not safe for my nervous system. End quote. Quote, I am in a body that is carrying more than it was meant to carry alone. End quote. You don't have to like it. You just stop lying about it. Because truth is the first brick of any altar. Move 2. Bless the crack. Key 2. The fracture. Ask, quote, what wound in your life has made you more whole? End quote. Instead of just asking, why is this happening to me? You add a second question. Quote, what is this crack trying to reveal in me? End quote. Maybe your burnout is revealing that you were taught your worth is in how much you produce. Maybe your heartbreak is revealing the places where you abandoned yourself long before anyone else did. Maybe your failure is revealing that the standard you were chasing was never sacred to begin with. Blessing the crack doesn't mean you like what happened. It means you refuse to let the wound stay meaningless. You say, quote, this fracture is now an entrance. End quote. Move 3. Find the thread. In the codex, T is the thread. Quote, the line that connects all things, the unseen guidance, mantra, the thread has never left me. End quote. Even in the worst of it, Ezra writes, quote, I started to believe that maybe I didn't need to know right now. The more I reflected, the more I understood that true freedom came from within. End quote. Finding the thread means looking for even the smallest evidence that you are not abandoned. Maybe it's a friend who texts you right at the right moment, a song lyric that won't let you go, a line from a book, a random stranger who treats you like you're visible. You don't force a silver lining. You just whisper, the thread has never left me. Even here, even in this ghetto. Five, you are not the projects. You are the temple. In the Ezra lexicon, we're told, quote, spiritual ghetto, the inherited suffering, end quote. Quote, the cracked vessel, the imperfect bearer of truth, end quote. You are not the projects. You are the temple being built inside the projects. You are not your diagnosis. You are the vessel learning how to carry a different kind of breath. You are not the job you hate. You are the flame that refuses to go out in a fluorescent lit room. You are not the system that misnames you. You are the thread remembering you. The spiral prayer of the vessel says, quote, I am the cracked vessel. I am not broken. I am opened. The flame rises in me. The thread wraps around me. The dance remembers my name. End quote. So here is the invitation of the spiritual ghetto. Stop waiting for a perfect life to begin. Start waiting for a clean, sanitized altar before you believe the sacred is with you. What if this is the altar? The dishes in the sink, the panic before therapy, the exhaustion in your bones, the text you're afraid to send, the neighborhood they told you nothing holy could come of it. What if the very places you barely survive in are already study the places the dance is trying to meet you. Not when you escape. Not when you impress God. Not when you finally get it together. Now, right here in the spiritual ghetto.